Morning Bumblebees, welcome to your morning maths lesson. So we're going to continue with our fractions work today, and we're going to be looking at a range of different unit fractions, which is one of those words that we talked about yesterday, and we're going to look at how we write the fractions and how we find fractions of number. So we're first of all going to start with looking at all of these fractions on the board. Now these are all unit fractions. I'm just going to write that at the bottom because we talked about unit fractions yesterday, and I said we would look at what a unit fraction is. Now a unit fraction is just one piece of a fraction. So all of these here, the numerator, which is another word that we talked about yesterday, the numerator, which is at the top of the piece of paper, tells us that we only want one to find one part of that whole. And that's what the numerator means, okay? And the denominator, which is what we're going to focus on today, it tells us how many parts we've got. So the denominator tells us how many parts that whole shape has been split into. Now you can see these unit fractions here, each of the fractions has a different denominator, and that tells us that each shape has been split into that many parts. So here we've got a half, and it tells us that our whole shape is split into two parts. Here we've got a quarter, and our whole shape has been split into four pieces. Here we have got a third, and our whole has been split into three pieces. Here we've got a fifth, and it's been split into five pieces. So just before we move on to the next part of our lesson, let's recap our vocabulary from yesterday. I have put a picture of this on the board. So we've talked about thirds, halves, wholes and quarters. They're the fractions that we have been using. So all of those words are on the website. So if you need to, keep referring back to them to help you with your learning. So we'll just lower that one down, and we'll just lower this one down, and we'll move on to looking at finding fractions of amounts. So the question on the board here is asking me to find 1/4 of 16. Now to do this, we're going to draw some bar models, which is this. So the most important parts of this bar model, the first one is this is our whole number, which is 16. So our whole number is placed at the top of the bar, and that piece isn't split into anything. And then these pieces here are our fractions, and we're trying to find 1/4. So each of these pieces represents 1/4 of that whole number. So that's what our bar is going to look like every single time that we do it. And we are only finding a unit fraction, which is what we've just talked about, which is one piece of that. So we're going to find one piece. Now it doesn't matter if it's this piece that you want to find, or it's this piece you want to find, or any of the two in the middle, because we've used that word equal, they are all exactly the same. They are all equal. So it doesn't matter which one you choose to count when you are calculating it. Okay, so here the question is asking me to find 1/2 of 14. So we already know that if we are finding a half, we need to split our whole shape into two. Now this is where your bar modelling will come into our learning. So we're just going to draw a very quick bar model. Now it doesn't matter how big your bar model is. What matters is that your half is directly in the middle, so that these two pieces here are equal. And we are finding a half of 14. 14 is our whole piece, so that goes at the top of our bar, and we are going to be finding half of 14. So to do that, we're going to be sharing. Now you could share, if you want to actually share something out, you could go and raid the kitchen and try and find pieces of pasta, or you could, if you've got any counters or cubes or anything small that you can use as a counter or a cube that you can count out. Alternatively, you can do it the way that I'm going to do it, and that is by drawing. So I am going to share. Share was one of the words that we talked about earlier. So I'm going to share and then equally this number here. So I'm going to share this number here equally. So it doesn't matter if it's 14 or 20, 16 or 8, we still need to share it equally. So let's count with me. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And I can hear you all shouting, "Stop, Mrs. Wood," because that's what we do when we get to 14, because we've only got 14 to share and we've managed to do that. Now, our numerator here is telling us that we only need to find 1/2. So this is where we need to circle 1/2 of our bar model here. So then we count how many counters can we see in 1/2, which is just this bit here. So how many counters can you see there? Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my answer to half of 14 is 7. Well done if you've managed to get that one right. That was really good. So we're going to do it again with the next one using exactly the same method. So you've got half of 20 this time. So the only thing that's different in this question to the previous question is how many we are sharing. So we're going to quickly draw our bar model. So again, it doesn't matter how wide it is, just so long as it's split in half. So each side is equal. My total here goes there because 20 is my whole number, and I am going to share that 20 between my 2 because my denominator here tells me I need 2 boxes. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And we stop there because we've used all of our 20 up. My numerator this time is telling me I only need 1/2. So I circle 1/2 of my number, and I have got however many is in that box. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my total for my answer of half of 20 is 10. Well done, everyone. Excellent. We're doing really well with this. So let's move on to a quarter of 16. Now this one is slightly different because instead of it being a half, it's a quarter, which means my bar is going to look a little bit different. So I'm still going to draw my bar across. And again, it doesn't matter how wide it is. We still need our whole number, which here is 16. But instead of splitting it in half into 2 this time, I need to split it into quarters. So I'm going to split it into 4 equal quarters, of which then I'm going to share my 16 because it's 16 here that needs to be shared between those 4 boxes. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and we stop there because 16 is my total. And then my numerator is asking me for 1 quarter. So I circle 1 box, and in that 1 box, I have got an answer of 4. Well done, everyone. Brilliant. Right, final one that we're going to do together, and then you've got some to practice on your own. So this one says 1/4 of 8. So again, if we look at it in comparison to this question here, everything's exactly the same apart from the 16 and the 8. So we're going to do exactly the same. So I'm going to draw my bar model first. I'm going to put my 8 as my whole number, and I'm going to split my bar into 4 equal pieces. Excuse me, and then I'm going to share my 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I stop there because that's my 8 used up. My question here is asking me for 1/4. So I circle 1/4 and my answer is 2. So for this one, we're going to look at 1/6 of 18. Okay, so again, draw that bar model. It will really, really help you with your learning. Split the top off and write my whole number. So it's exactly the same process every single time. But this time we're going to split it not into 3 and not into 4 or 5, but in fact 6, because that is what my denominator tells me I need to do. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I paused them because I went for a half first. So we've got 6 pieces and they are all equal. Let's keep reminding ourselves of the vocabulary. They are all equal to share those numbers. So we're going to share our 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And it's a unit fraction. It's 1 piece. So we're looking for 1. And my answer is 3. Well done, everybody. So if you head back to the website once the video has finished, you will find a list of questions to do. Have a go at those questions, see how you get on at answering them. Use this method. If you get to a point in it and you think, I just don't know what I'm doing, pop back onto the video and just double check your methods, or practice it with the questions that I've given you. So pause the video, draw your bar model, pop in all the answers, share it out, then play the video and check your answers. If you've got them right, give yourself a great big tick, because that's what the one way that we're going to learn. So have a really good go, answer those questions, send them to me, and I will see how we're all getting on. Have fun.